I often don't read a book cover to cover, and I feel like I can't put it down, and I felt that way as I was reading the book. I had a hard time putting it down. It's short, it's to the point, it's succinct. Talk to us about why you did this.
Well, Jan, after being at the White House for going on 16 years, and for the 2 terms of Barack Obama, this is a responsibility that I feel. I saw so many things that were taking place publicly that most of the public wasn't aware of, and that was the motivation. Obviously, my great interest in Israel in terms of the Bible's plan for the state of Israel and what's taking place in the Middle East, watching what Obama was doing with the state of Israel, watching what he was doing, his policies were doing to the military, watching these opportunities. That's the April 2009 speech to the Turkish parliament, and then bowing to the king of Saudi Arabia that summer, and then June 4, 2009, his major address to the entire Muslim world, and him being much more pro-Muslim. When he did speak of Christianity, it typically was to chastise Christians. Get off your high horses. He did the National Day of Prayer, talking about the Crusades and John Crow things that had taken place in the South. On and on, talking about your interpretation of the Scriptures, comparing Jim Dobson to Al Sharpton. Reading his book, Audacity of Hope. A lot of people hadn't read that, but his distortion of the Scriptures and the view of the Scriptures and the fact it was under Reverend Wright's teaching for 20 years. So that was a motive. There was so much that was taking place, Jan, and it hadn't been put together in a concise book, and I felt that Christians around the country, God-fearing Christians, needed to read this because this is very serious what's taken place in the last 2 terms.
Bill, have you had any confrontations with Obama White House staff over the book, or have you in the past had confrontations over positions and so on? Has there been that kind of a, shall we say, uncomfortable experience for you?
And how have you survived 16 years?
Well, second question or second comment first, Jan, it's God. I mean, it's the Lord. I mean, He's had me there for a particular purpose. I've been a watchman, watching what's been taking place in Israel and the Middle East. My great heart is what is happening biblically and prophetically in our country, and He has put me in a very unique position, and I continue to be there. I have to give Him all the credit because that's the way I've been able to survive the 16 years. And I think the other point, Eric, no, I haven't had any direct dialogue yet. The book is very new. It's only been out a couple of weeks, actually about a month now. And so I'm sure that some things will come up soon. Obviously ready for that because I've done my homework. And the other thing too, Eric, is I've used His words. And for us to read His words in the context that they were given, it opens a lot of eyes. So this book, even my last chapter, chapter 8, So Help Me God, is the opportunity for the president to see things how they need to be seen. He, in his second oath, added, so help me God, to the oath. Not all presidents do that, but he felt inclined to add, so help me God. Right after that, the Lord put it in my heart, write a so help me God response to that. And I went through point by point by point of things that Obama has done while he's been president, and for him to say, so help me God understand that this is an affront to you. So help me God understand that this is a blasphemy. So help me God understand that the state of Israel is not to be divided, or the land is not to be given for a future Arab state. So I do 10 or 12 pages of that, and then I talk about personal and national repentance.
Yes, and we want to get there in just a minute. Bill, I want to move just briefly here to kind of another topic, so to speak. You talk about foreign policy in here, and obviously the disastrous policy that we now have with Israel, America has with Israel, thanks to Barack Obama, is extremely troubling. Certainly the transgender, LGBT, etc. agenda is hugely troubling, but this foreign issue with our new policy towards Israel, which is to be her enemy, to be frank. You just come out in this book and you say that he has an affinity for Muslims, and you also say that he loathes the biblical worldview crowd, and you also say that he has a Muslim worldview, and I think that's been rather obvious here in almost 8 years of time. You talk about his goal, which is to prop up Iran and to tear down Israel. You call the Iranian deal a brutal nightmare, which any sane thinking person would call it that, I guess. He has seriously undermined Israel and her security. And you suggest that he and his associates would mock the idea that Israel has a special biblical role. Of course, so would many churches today. These are very troubling statements, troubling but true statements you're making, Bill.
Well, very true. Obama's more than a couple times said he had Israel's back, specifically one time, and that he had Israel's back, but then he selects people to represent him like John Brennan at CIA, John Kerry at the State Department, Chuck Hagel, Samantha Powers at the UN, Susan Rice, who was at the UN, who's now his national security advisor, Robert Malley. These people don't have a really good overall relationship with the leadership of Israel. It's probably surface at best. They've all individually at one time or another made comments or done things that say these people aren't necessarily friends of Israel. And as Michael Oren said in his book, after his years of being the ambassador from Israel to the U.S., we're used to having a friend in the White House. And we've never really felt that we had a friend in the Obama White House. Yes, they went ahead and continued to provide a large, significant amount of money for Israel's defense, where a lot of that money stays in the U.S. in terms of manufacturing and jobs. That's important, and that was critical. But also, Congress overwhelmingly, the Democrats and the Republicans overwhelmingly are supportive of Israel. So Joe Biden being a keynote speaker at some of the J Street events. J Street is the give up the land, give up Judea and Samaria, give up the Golden Heights, give up East Jerusalem, whatever you need to do, Jewish lobby that the Obama administration was much more favorable to. And the other thing is the climax was the fact, the Iran deal. I mean, we had Democratic members of the Senate and the House that were saying, yes, Iran is the number one state sponsor of terror. Yes, they are problematic. Yes, they are a concern. Yes, they have moved into Iraq and Syria and Lebanon and Yemen. Yes, but we got to give this a try. Well, basically that decision was a party vote rather than facing the realities and the concerns of what is the number one state sponsor of terror going to do once they've been given $100 billion plus.